Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Friday, November 28th. Hope everybody survived U.S. Thanksgiving. We're back, and so is the NHL after a one-day holiday hiatus, and it's back with a vengeance. Holy shit. 15 games today in NHL action. The majority of them are day games, so obviously it is a huge, massive slate. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith with you. For one of the few times ever on this show, there's no recap today. We're not going to go back to 2 days ago and recap what happened. So we're going to just jump right into it. It's a huge card. We got a game that's just about to start. Noon Eastern, Tampa Bay, Detroit. It's actually not bad that, this game's just about to begin, as far as getting bets in, because I don't have much on this game, and I know Alex doesn't have much on this game, other than Nick Paul to score, but you could figure that out. Tampa Bay minus 125, road favorite, 6.5 the total. Tampa's playing good hockey. We'll see how they fare. I could only look in their direction here in this game, but Detroit's been a thorn in their side at times, and especially in this building. Little Caesars Arena, I don't know what it is, but Tampa Bay has struggled in the past here in Detroit. Early start. Red Wings are more used to these real early start times, especially at home, than Tampa. There's enough unsettling factors, in my opinion, to stay off Tampa Bay. I lean in that direction. I do kind of like the over, but I'm going to wait for something better potentially in game because there's always that fear this game does start maybe just a little bit slow. Tampa's form I don't want to mess with. Plus Detroit, you got to admit, pretty disappointing here these last couple games. The New Jersey loss, although they did enough to win that game. They played well enough to win. I can't say that about the Nashville game. That was a debacle. Can't be losing games on home ice to the Nashville Predators, but Detroit managed to do that. So it's a lean Tampa, lean to the over, but we'll look in game as far as the over is concerned. I know, Alex, you don't have much, but take it away, Tampa, Detroit.
Maybe look at Tampa to score first goal of the game. Live Tampa puck line, because we've been seeing this trend where Detroit has not had a lead out of the first period in the last 14 games. Tampa's done fairly well in the first period of late. So those will be the only looks I'd have. So like I said, as we're on the air, if I like anything, I'll just put it in the chat and we'll mention it. But that's the only thing I'm looking at. Tampa Bay looks early. And then if we jump in live while we're on the air, we'll just add it in.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's Pistons have a home game in the same building tonight. That's why this game is so early. Vassy and Gibson are indeed the goalies. That is correct. All right, Rangers and Bruins. We've got this one's at 1 p.m. Eastern, so we're an hour away from puck drop for this one. This is your TNT game, by the way, nationally televised. Rangers minus 170, road favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. I mean, this number is just skyrocketed here on the New York Rangers here in this game. Shesterkin confirmed, and the projections of Korpisalo and the confirmation of Korpisalo is probably why, but that's not all. Injuries suddenly for Boston, and this is where you got to be careful here coming out of the holiday. I've seen this before. Whoa, this guy's not playing? Where did that come from? I'm telling you, you're going to see this a few times today, and I've seen it over the last few years on these day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday NHL slates where it's like, whoa, this guy's out of the lineup? How did that happen? When did that happen? And here we have Boston with obviously Korpisalo starting, not Swayman. And with the way Swayman looked the other night against the Islanders, it's probably a bit of a downgrade. Pavel Zacha out, and David Pastrnak, the big one of all, also out for the Boston Bruins today. And that is why this line is skyrocketed. It tells you what the betting markets feel about a patchwork Boston Bruins lineup missing David Pastrnak. They know that he's always that big for the team, but on a team where the depth isn't as strong, the lack of the scoring options aren't as plentiful on this edition of the Bruins. When you lose a guy like David Pastrnak, there's more of a reaction. We're seeing that as the Rangers have been bet all the way up to minus 170, but there's no chance I'm touching the Rangers now at this price, minus 170, even though the road has been better for them than at home. And even though they're coming off a nice road win against Carolina, 4-2 the other night, although if you watch that game, Carolina played well enough to win, outplayed the Rangers, spent more time. It was a Shesterkin game. That's really what it was. Shesterkin was outstanding for the New York Rangers, but that's what he's capable of doing when he's been on his game and on his top form in the past. So Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you got a good price on the Rangers, well done. Not at this price. I'll have a small, tiny little bet on the draw, but even that I don't like as much because I do worry about Boston's ability to maintain contact here. Obviously, they're missing two of their better forwards, their best forward by far in Pasta, and of course Korpisalo, which serves as a bit of a downgrade here. What I would say is if you like the Rangers, bet the team total over. Don't take the -1.5, bet the or -170, bet the team total over. They did score 4 against Carolina. 4 will get you paid if you bet the Rangers team total this afternoon, but not jumping to bet this game here other than small bet on the draw. Alex, what do you think? Rangers, Bruins?
Yeah, I have a small piece of the draw as well. Grabbed that early this morning. The one thing I would look for if I like Rangers, and I kind of lean with Rangers, like I said, especially with the Bruins injuries, tying that with that over 4.5 parlay and get that -$1.05. You put it together at FanDuel. I haven't seen what the MGM price is, maybe closer to plus money. But this is one where I want to wait live, and I'm not just going to wait for plus money at 5.5. I'm going to try and wait for a 4.5. If I get 4.5 -120, 125. That's something I'm going to be looking for in game here. So we're waiting for a live over, but it's not at 5.5, not at plus money. We're looking for 4.5 at a reasonable price. I think this game could be low and slow enough early to where we get to that range and then look for some offense later in the contest.
There you go. Yeah, low and slow early, very possible. As far as, by the way, Elias Lindholm is back for the Bruins, so it's not all bad. Middlestat back as well, so it's kind of weird where they get Zacha and Pasternak out, but Lindholm and Middlestat are playing. I mean, Marco Sturm, I get it. You got some injuries here up front. We got a second line. Really? I'm looking at this. You got Mark Kastelik and Tanner Jeannot on a second line this afternoon? Really? Oh, my gosh. They have no business being on a second line, those two guys. Kastelik is just a physical guy who drops his gloves every now. Same with Jeannot. Jeannot doesn't give you anything offensively. It's been that way for years. That's your second line for Boston today. Woo! That's rough. Woof is what I would say to that. My goodness. Usually I like to back the players moving up the lineup. I don't know if I want any part of Kastelik Jeannot props. My goodness. Asking those guys to score, it's like pulling teeth. Holy goodness. Anyway, Colorado and Minnesota. Colorado -180, road favorites, 6 the total here in this game. This is a good one. This is one of the games of the afternoon with obviously Colorado, the unbeatable Avalanche right now with the way they've been going. They just put the absolute belt to ass on San Jose the other night, 6-0 against the Sharks. Absolute roll for this Avalanche team. They've still lost just one. Can you believe that? In 23 games, they've lost once in regulation. That is just absolutely unbelievable what we're seeing from the Avs right now. They've shut out each of their last 3 opponents. 3 straight shutout wins for Colorado over Nashville, Chicago, and San Jose. There's a little step up from Nashville, Chicago, and San Jose, though we must say that here with the way Minnesota's playing. Minnesota's won 6 straight entering this game against Colorado. So this is one hell of a matchup when you look at it. And this has been a competitive recent series. You look at the last 3 meetings, Minnesota won in Colorado. Colorado then won the next game, also at home 5-2. But then Minnesota won in a shootout 2-1 in Minnesota. This has been a very competitive series. I'm tempted to take this home dog price. It's not easy to step in front of this Colorado freight train. I get it. They have looked that good. But boy, oh boy, this is now at the point where the betting markets have gotten like carried away with Colorado a little bit. I mean, -180 on the road with the way Minnesota's been going here in the last few games does feel a little bit rich to me. I'm just waiting on goalies here in this game, which to me is significant because I will say this right now for this game coming up. If we get the confirmation in this matchup that it's the Brick Wallstead, I will be on Minnesota here. There's no question about that because we know how good he has been in net for this Minnesota team of late. Like I said, this is a guy that they had high hopes for when he was drafted, and he certainly played like it. Like I said, Colorado's not going 70 or 80, whatever, 76-1-5 or 75-1-5. That's not, or 76-1-5. Yeah, that's not happening. They're going to eventually start losing some games here. And they do still have Big Val Nichushkin out for them. Like I said, I'm waiting on the goalie confirmation. All we have right now is Wedgwood and Wallstead projected. But like I said, if Wallstead's in, this is not a price I'm going to be able to pass up here with Minnesota. I like the draw, regardless. I think the draw could be live here. I expect a competitive game. Alex, what do you think? Avs, Wild.
I'm waiting everything live with this one. Even if it is Wallstead and net, I lean toward Minnesota if it is him. But this is going to be a fun one. You got two teams that are on streaks like this, two rivals no less. These two teams that do not like each other, and you always see a spirited crowd here on those Black Friday day games. So I think this could be a good back and forth battle. There'll be a lot of things to attack live totals. Like I said, maybe even grab a little bit of the Wild at a better price if it is Wallstead net plus 160. And looking for, next team to score back and forth. This is one I definitely have circled for the live. Definitely want to check Patreon for this game.
Yeah, to check the Patreon page. I've already posted all our early looks. Alex already sent me his afternoon card. That's posted, but he'll be adding more, and there'll be another update on the Patreon card at 3 p.m. Eastern time before all the 4 Eastern and later games start. Okay, well, my entire card will be posted by then, and any additions from Alex will be posted by then. So again, check the Patreon page just after 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, and the entirety of the card will be posted for both of us at that time. We've already got our early stuff up there, but like I said, we're definitely going to have the stuff later on in the day up as well. For props in this game, of course, we're going to keep rocking with our guy Yurov with Kaprizov and Zuccarello on the top line. Definitely think that's worth a look, continuing to, try to back him. And Ross Colton's the other one. I mean, Ross Colton's been stepping up offensively with the opportunity to play with Nelson and Landeskog on the second line. So there's good value still with Ross Colton here for Colorado. Calgary, Florida. Florida minus 180, home favorites, 5.5 the total. We just saw Calgary get absolutely pumped in the first period by Tampa. And now you got Florida off not one, but 2 losses in their last 3 games. 2 straight home losses, though. They lost to Edmonton, of course, last Saturday. And then they had a 2-0 lead against Philadelphia the other night and lose 4-2 to the Flyers. Sandwiched in between was that blowout win on the road against Nashville. But that's 2 straight home losses for Florida. I'm just going to keep this simple. Florida first period puck line. I think they have a chance to – I think there's a focus here, get off to a good start. They did get off to a good start against Philly. It was the finish that was the problem for them. Calgary, unable to sustain the little win streak they had. They just go into Tampa, and it was over pretty much after the first period of that game, going down 4-0. I think Florida first period puck line, there's value. It's plus price. Certainly that's the best look, in my opinion, for anything involving pro Florida here in this game, first period puck line. Alex, what do you think? Flames, Panthers.
This is a game where I'll grab a little piece of the over 5.5 minus $1.20 pregame. Look to add a little bit more on once it crosses into plus money territory in game. But I like goals here. Like something that we something to keep an eye on for this entire weekend. Having that one day off, we tend to see year after year the overs kind of trickle in a little bit more during this weekend, that post-Thanksgiving weekend. So this could be one of those games that we see go up and down. Florida's been playing a lot of the over of late. Calgary, we know how they are with their defense.
Calgary's 5-6 to the over. You wouldn't think that, but they are.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, because of their defense, they're susceptible to give up 4 or 5 goals on their own. It's not so much them contributing offensively. That's the part you kind of worry about with Calgary. But at a 5.5, I feel comfortable enough here to take the over. I think Florida can chip in with enough. Calgary can at least get 1 or 2, and that should get us over that total.
I'm probably going to bet the over small here after seeing that, because it's 5-1 to the over for Calgary in the last 6, and it's actually 3 straight overs for Florida, 6-4 in their last 10. The only concern is series history has been pretty strong under, but like I said, I sometimes have to weigh what I'm seeing right now with these two teams over what's happened in the past, especially with, like I said, Dustin Wolf, I think, would start here. Bobrovsky's obviously likely going to start here for Florida in this game, but he got pulled after 5 minutes and 3 goals the other night, Dustin Wolf in Tampa. So I'm sure Ryan Uska is going to give him another chance to rebound. But it's been, like I said, not the season he envisioned or the Flames envisioned, certainly from a defensive standpoint with what we've seen from them so far this season. All right, by the way, that game is 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern. This next stretch of games, there's a ton of games starting at this 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Pacific window. I think we've got 7 games at this time. That's the first of the 7 at 4 p.m. Eastern. The next one is New Jersey and Buffalo. We have even money here, minus 110 both sides, 6 the total in this game. I'm going to take Buffalo here today in this spot. They're a good home team lately, coming off the loss to Pittsburgh. New Jersey, I know, has beaten Detroit, obviously, in a couple of games ago. Although Markstrom really had to withstand a furious push from Detroit in the third period. They beat a struggling St. Louis team 3-2 in overtime in their last game. But yes, for someone that's not bet the Buffalo Sabres very often, you have to respect the way they've played at home and the ability to beat pretty good teams at home. I mean, their last 3 home wins came against Edmonton, Chicago, and Carolina. So you got to give Buffalo some credit. And the Devils continue to be just one of these home road split teams. Again, they go back home to the Rock there, Prudential Center in Newark. They win 2 in a row against the Red Wings and Blues to go to 9-0-1 at home, New Jersey. But this is a below 500 road team, 6-7. Like, they have not been able to keep that quality play going on the road this season, the Devils. They've been a very, very sharp home road split team. And still dealing with injuries. Let's not forget Jack Hughes still out. Dodonov's out for the Devils. The Sabres are close to getting Josh Norris back, but it's not going to be quite yet, although he is getting closer to a return for them. Right now, we have no goalies. Now, that's just the way it is. You're going to get late goalie confirmations with these teams coming off the holiday break. Not many of them. The Leafs are one of the exceptions, and I'll get to the Leafs in a little bit. I think that's why they could be a little bit live against Washington today. They actually spent the Thanksgiving Day yesterday practicing for their game today, and that's really rare. You don't see teams practicing on Thanksgiving Day very often, but the Leafs did yesterday. But the majority of teams don't hit the ice on Thanksgiving, so that's why we get these delays as far as who's in net for these games and finding that out. So, but yeah, I'm on Buffalo here. I'm on the full game over as well. Now, I'm only on the full game over here because these teams. I'm going to turn this into a bifecta because New Jersey, after being a really bad first period over team early in the year, they have I think it's now 5 of the last 6 for New Jersey. They've gone over in the first period in their games. Buffalo, too, at home lately has been going over in the first period. So I will turn this into a bifecta. First period over, full game over, along with Buffalo minus 110. Alex, what do you think here? Devils, Sabres.
Well, I just lost a bet already. I took a shot with Lightning to get first goal in that game, and then it's Detroit now on the board 1-0 with
1-0 Red Wings. Just saw that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's that. But I did bet the over 6. I got minus $1.12. I actually bet this last night at FanDuel. I will be adding the first period over in game, so this will be a bifecta for me. But I've already played the over, grabbing that 6 because I knew that 6 was going to move. I'm seeing a lot of 6.5. So shop around to grab the 6. If not, just wait for both in game.
There we go. Good stuff there. And definitely, like I said, excited to see how this game plays out. But I think one of the things to mention here with, Jack Quinn, have to. Energized 100%. 100%. He is feeling it. You not see nothing like the mighty Jack Quinn. Yeah, he's mighty all right now, playing with McLeod and Zucker on the second line. This guy is shooting the puck. That's the difference now. He's getting 6 shots in most games, 3 straight games with a goal for Jack Quinn. Absolutely. He's got the hot stick going right now for this Buffalo Sabres team. I would say for New Jersey, they keep shuffling the lines a little bit, but maybe look toward Brown and Glass, third line, Gritchuk. We always mention him, but my favorite prop for sure in this game is Jack Quinn starting to really heat up and a good time for this Buffalo Sabres team. All right, next up, we go to Montreal, Vegas. Vegas minus 180, home favorites, 6 the total in this game. The best streak in hockey, one of the best over streaks going. What is it now? 11-1, 12-1. I get their streak and Vancouver's streak mixed up. I mean, it's just been a crazy over streaks. I think it's 12-1 for Montreal. It's 13-1 now for Vancouver. First period over, full game over here. Montreal, Vegas. I got a 5.5 overnight with the total, full game. For Montreal, Vegas, minus 130. That's long gone. I'm seeing 6s and shade with juice now, and I'm even seeing 6.5s. That was a stupid line. Let's be honest. That was dumb. Whoever had 5.5s out there initially with this game, that's nuts. That's totally absurd. Knowing that Montreal's gone 12 of the last 13 games to the over. Who puts out 5.5 in that situation? I couldn't believe it. I mean, my gosh, I was shocked that I saw that. It's really, really stunned. So I jumped on that. So I'd say bet it now. I mean, how many times have we seen the Montreal games get to 7? So even if you miss the 5.5, 6.5 is fine, in my opinion. We know Vegas with the first period overs. It's a wash, rinse, repeat deal for them. It just keeps on happening. So first period over, full game over. Like the 2 of my favorite looks on the entire card. Alex, what do you think? Montreal, Vegas.
Yeah, I went with this first period over. I got minus $1.20. I did not see a 5.5. Like I said, you got that last night.
Oh, was Sam Montembeault in net too? He's been confirmed, one of the few. Yeah, like it even more.
Yeah, so I'm definitely heavy on the first period over, and I also added both teams to score in the first period. I got plus 164 with that as well.
Yeah, no doubt. No, I do. There was a game with Vegas and Colorado on Nevada Day, and it was an afternoon game. I do remember it ended up staying under in the in the period. I do remember that. But how
every other game damn near with them is
every other game pretty much has.
Especially at
like
home.
I said, yeah. Montreal's one of those teams too. Their offense is good, and they're still giving up goals, and their goaltending's been shaky, especially the guy in net today, Montembeault, who's just he just has not been able to put consistency together right now. As far as props go, I'm just running back the same players I've had recent games. Bowman, Barbashev for Vegas. We're going to keep taking their props. Bolduc for Montreal because he remains on the top line with Suzuki and Caulfield, and he's now starting to percolate there on that top line. He had a goal and 2 assists in the win against Utah the other night up on that top line. So, liking that there with Montreal, Vegas as far as props in that game. I don't think we have Vegas's goalie confirmed yet, but it'll be likely either Schmid. It'll probably be Schmid, I would think, again, in net for them. But it, again, hasn't been confirmed as of yet. All right, next up, we've got, as we roll along here, we're keeping a great pace here. Love it. Vancouver, just to go from the one team that's been an over machine to the other, Vancouver, as they take on San Jose. Vancouver minus 120 road favorites, 6.5 the total. I'll give Nikita Tolopilo some credit. Actually was not bad against Anaheim, considering the shit show that's in front of him defensively on this hockey team. But still, it's not going to get any easier. San Jose is going to be in a bad mood. I saw the Macklin Celebrini post-game presser after the 6-0 shellacking they took at the hands of Colorado. He was not happy. Said, we expect to compete better than that. We know they're a good team, but that's not good enough on our end to play like that. So I expect San Jose to really respond with a much better effort here in this game. This is a great price and a great spot, I think, with San Jose, too. Not happy about getting bombed and shut out by Colorado. Vancouver. Now, Vancouver, credit to them. They beat Anaheim the other night. But if you watch Coach Q, he said, we didn't have our legs. We weren't doing the things we need to do. Vancouver, credit to Vancouver. They stepped up. But you know what? There's a couple of these teams on this slate today where we're talking about teams that are struggling, teams that aren't good, teams that we consider, quote unquote, bad teams off a win. And we don't like bad teams off a win. They're bad because they don't string wins together. They're bad because they don't often put good performances together in a row. Vancouver's one of them. There's another team we'll talk about later in the show as well in that situation. So I like San Jose here, plus 100. And, of course, we have to bet the over by Fecta here. One of the best over streaks going with this Canucks team. 12-1 to the over their last 13 games. And, by the way, 4 straight first period overs involving the Vancouver Canucks. So we will make this a bifecta, over first period, over full game, along with San Jose money line. Alex, Canucks, Sharks.
Yeah, I took Sharks money line. I grabbed plus 100. Shop around because I'm seeing some minus $2, $5. So shop around and get the best price. But like I said, I think this is going to be a step up game for San Jose. Like I said, can't trust Vancouver to string wins together, and it just seems like this is going to be a good home effort. And this is we talk about these early starts. This is 3 o'clock Central, so 1 o'clock local time. 2 teams that don't play a lot of day games. Maybe they start getting into a rhythm, with San Jose. This is a young team. Maybe they start scheduling more of these games. They can start winning and getting into a pattern with this spot. And you tend to see that too. We talk about that with teams that are kind of getting, better and more notoriety, like a Chicago, like a Anaheim. They'll start getting more of these marquee games. They may have to start playing more day games. So it's something that they may have to get used to sooner than later if you're San Jose. I like them in this spot at even money.
Yeah, I like them here. The price is pretty good with them here. And again, Vancouver, it's been a while since they've put, like I say, quality victories together in a row. As far as props for this game, for both of these teams, I'm just trying to see what we've got here. I would even look couple players for Vancouver, even though I like San Jose in the game. Drew O'Connor and Linus Karlsson. These are players down the lineup that are offensively capable, and they're starting to put the puck in for the Canucks. So I like the idea of maybe value with those 2 guys right now as far as putting the puck in the net for the Vancouver Canucks in this game. I would look toward probably Kurashev. And this could be a game for Eklund, Celebrini, and Will Smith to run wild. because the Canucks just don't have a shutdown line that's very strong defensively. They don't have a great top pair that you can say, yeah, we can shut you down. So this could be a game where it's a pop-off kind of game after getting shut out by Colorado for the big three of Will Eklund, Will Smith, and Macklin Celebrini on that top line. So maybe this could be a game for, over 1.5 points for some of these guys, like Celebrini, like Smith. Multi-point games against a Vancouver team that's been very, very giving to the opponent as far as goals are concerned. We don't know who's in net. We assume Askarov for San Jose. We know it sounds like they're still both out. Demko due to injury, Lankinen due to personal matters. So it's either going to be Nikita Tolopilo again, or they're going to give Yuri Patera a start. And I'm seeing some sites have him listed. So this is definitely something you want to keep an eye on for sure. All right, next up, we've got Ottawa, St. Louis. This is also 4 p.m. Eastern. Ottawa minus 115 road favorites. Total here sitting at 5.5 across the board in this one. Been riding these Blues first period money line bets and first goal of the first period, but I might pump the brakes on it here today because Ottawa's been a fast starter of late as well. And so you got two teams that have had pretty good recent history and propensity to start the game pretty strong. I like the first period over instead. When you look at that, and only the first period over do I like in this game. Rarely do I do that. Normally, if I'm on the first period over, and even when I like a first period more than a full game, I'll still put some money down on the full game, even if it's more on the first period. But in this case, I've only got the first period over here because I could actually see this kind of slowing down here a little bit in this game. Not to mention St. Louis is kind of for the full game. It's been goals early and then not much after that. That's been the pattern here for St. Louis. Look at these recent box scores where all the goals have been in the first 20 minutes of these recent Blues games. And then it just dies after that. That's why they're 8-2 to the under full game in their last 10 games. 6 straight unders going into this game. I mean, all the goals have been early, and then obviously it's been nothing after the first period, in a lot of these games. So interesting to see how this one plays out. Nothing on the side. Like I said, St. Louis struggling. I certainly can't trust them to win a full game right now. Ottawa, it's a weird spot for them where they're out on the West Coast. San Jose, Anaheim, LA, then Vegas. Now you're in the Midwest over the holiday. Your guess is as good as mine how that's going to go. But they do get big news here with the returning Brady Tkachuk, or at least we think he's back today. He's targeted this game back in St. Louis. Of course, the Tkachuk family connection to St. Louis. That's probably a big reason why they've targeted this game for him to make his return, the captain for the Ottawa Senators. Not confirmed, but I do expect Brady Tkachuk to return and play here for Ottawa in this game. But yeah, the only bet for me pregame is actually the draw too. I think this could be a good draw candidate here. Blues and Senators. So first period over and the draw. Alex, Ottawa, St. Louis.
I got first period over. I laid minus 15 with that late last night. I grabbed both teams to score in the first period, plus 168 available for that at FanDuel. And I did take a shot with Ottawa, minus $1.10. Like I said, thinking on the possibility of Tkachuk coming back. He's a huge boost. He's the heart and soul of that team, honestly. So that's a big step up for them. And St. Louis coming home off the road, that can be a tricky spot, even like I said with Ottawa, still being kind of, West Coast to Midwest, but having that day off, I think that may be a little bit more of an adjustment for them. So Ottawa and first period over, and both teams to score in the first for me.
Good stuff indeed. Yeah, Parlay Pinto for Ottawa as far as goal prop. Yeah, definitely. He's, like I say, streaky, and he scored in the last game. So I could definitely see him maybe finding the back of the net here. David Perron back in St. Louis. Why not? I think this is a good night to maybe look to David Perron for the Ottawa Senators, who, of course, spent a good chunk of his career there in St. Louis. And then on the Blues side of the equation, Holloway. Yes, we are going to take Dylan Holloway, probably the captain too. Braden Shen has been stepping up a little bit at the offensive end for the Blues in recent games. All right, battle of the freeway face-off, they call it. LA and Anaheim. LA minus 130, road favorites. The total here sitting at 6 across the board in this game. This is a wait and see. Obviously, I don't want LA. Obviously, I want Anaheim, especially coming off the loss to Vancouver, which might be a little bit of a wake-up call, losing, to a struggling Canucks team on home ice like that. But this is obviously a situation where we got to wait to see if Lukas Dostal is good. This is a guy that was a scratch day-to-day with a lower body injury the other night. That's why Peter Mrazek got the start against Vancouver the other night in that game. So that's just what we're waiting on here, is to see if Dostal, it's actually an upper body injury he had that kept him out of the Vancouver game. But again, Mrazek got the start against Vancouver. They had to call up Billy Husso from the minors to be the backup to Mrazek the other night. So that's what we're waiting on here, obviously, is the goalies. If it's Dostal, I'll be on Anaheim. But obviously, I'm waiting for that. Scory Perry, yes. First game at Honda Center as an LA King. Yep, obviously he's got the history of his first team, of course, being the Anaheim Ducks. So I don't mind that as far as a goal prop either. But like I said, we're just waiting on the goalie confirmation here. We'll see if Dostal is back for this Anaheim team. If he is, we'll be on the Quackers. Alex, what do you think here? Kings, Ducks.
Yeah, I kind of do like that Corey Perry prop, regardless of who starts in net for Anaheim. I'm seeing plus 330 there, so decent look there. But I would lean toward Anaheim money line if it is Dostal playing. This is one we can kind of wait and maybe jump in live. It should be a good contest. But like I said, lean more toward Anaheim than the team that's in just the kind of, I think it would be in better form today. And this is a spot, too, like I said, knowing how important it is to play against not only your division teams, but your rivals. And Quenneville understands that. So this is a spot where I think we should be able to see Anaheim's A game. And if they have Dostal in that, they should be able to get 2 points.
Good stuff. There's a couple other. I like Jackson. Kookie, Lenby Lacombe. Jackson Lacombe, 2 games in a row with a goal for him, plus 700. Why not? That kind of a price, knowing that he scored in back-to-back games here for the Anaheim Ducks. There's someone else for LA. I'm trying to think who it was that I had for prop-wise here in this game. It's Moore. Trevor Moore's on the second line now with Kopi and Kuzmenko. So probably a little bit of value here with Trevor Moore for the LA Kings now on the second line. So definitely, like I said, liking a couple of those props in that LA Anaheim game. Again, Ducks money line if we get the confirmation that Dostal gets the green light and he's good to go. Flyers, Islanders. We've got the Islanders minus 135 home favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. Those New York Islanders are back to the way they were a few years ago, at least in the last couple games. Can't score now. We remember the Islanders being that way for years. Early in the season, they're scoring goals left and right. But no, the well has run dry for the Islanders offensively in recent games. 1 goal in each of the last 3 games. The 2-1 home loss, and all since they returned home from that great road trip. And now they've lost 2 out of 3 being back home since that great road trip. 1 goal against St. Louis, 2-1 loss, 1-0 shootout win against Seattle. Where really they didn't score a goal. The win was a shootout. But they didn't score in regulation or overtime. And then the 1 goal against Boston. So you could really say they've scored 2 goals in the last 3 games combined. So, yeah, the offense is certainly dried up, struggling now to finish chances. The Islanders, Philly coming off a very, very impressive win just based on the fact they got behind quickly, 2-0. Were able to erase the deficit and get the 4-2 win against the Florida Panthers. We'll see how they fare here in this one. I'm going to sprinkle on the Flyers here, plus 115. I think we're going to see Vladar in net here for the Philadelphia Flyers. He's been really good, man. And Rick Tocchet keeps talking about how good Dostal, I keep saying Dostal, Vladar has been for, they're Czechs. That's why they're both Czechia goalies. That's why I'm getting all mixed up. But yeah, Vladar has been very good. Darth Vladar for the Philadelphia Flyers of late. Really kept Philly in it against Florida. And the Islanders just aren't putting the puck in the net here on this homestand. So the Flyers, with the way they check, the way they defend, with how strong their penalty kill has been this season, I think Philly could win this one and keep the good vibes going. Plus 115. I like the draw here, especially. I probably like the draw maybe even a bit more than the Philly money line side. 2 straight meetings have gone past regulation between these teams. The Islanders are starting to play a lot of tight 1-goal games again. 4 of their last 9 games have gone past regulation. 5 of the last 10 Philly games have gone past regulation. So, dog and draw. Alex, what do you think here? Flyers, Islanders.
Yeah, just draw for me. And this may be one we look at, over at Caesars. I know they have that game to go to shootout prop, overtime or shootout. We saw, like I said, last 2 meetings go past not only regulation, but go past overtime and into a shootout. So maybe a dabble there, but I'm just circling on the draw here.
All right. As far as props go in this game, again, we're going to probably only take Heineman here for the Islanders. That's it. I'm not going to be getting involved too much in Islander props when they're not scoring here on their homestand. But I do want to mention a couple players here. Forster's heating up for the Flyers. Noah Cates is on the second line. Christian Dvorak might be centering the top line with Zegras and Tippett here for Philadelphia today. So talk about a big opportunity that could come his way if he's indeed up on that unit. So Christian Dvorak could be worth a look here if he's indeed centering the top line, as it appears he might be. All right, Toronto and Washington. Now, that's the end of the 4 p.m. Eastern games. Toronto, Washington is 5 p.m. Eastern start time in Washington. We've got the Capitals minus 160 home favorites here, total at 6.5 across the board. So I don't know league-wide how many teams practiced yesterday, but Toronto was one of the few teams that did. I was shocked by it. I'm like, whoa, these guys are full practice on Thanksgiving Day. And Craig Berube says, holiday be damned. We need the practice time. We're trying to get our season turned around here. And they took, obviously, a step toward doing that with a big, and I mean big, overtime win the other night against Columbus. They really needed that, the Leafs, in that game. And now they're looking to build on that. Washington. Now, I took a stab against Washington the other night with Winnipeg, and I saw that game. Winnipeg didn't play that bad, and Washington didn't play that great. It was just one of the couple of those goals. I mean, Ovechkin just turns around, spins around, shoots the puck, and it's like a seeing eye shot. Comrie didn't even see it. I mean, it was just, they got a couple of good bounces, too, in that game, Washington, against Winnipeg. They're playing good. Don't get me wrong. They're scoring. There's no doubt. They're playing. And Ovechkin, of course, has been on a nice run during this span. But this is, we've done betcasts multiple times when it's been Toronto, Washington, especially in Washington. There's just some buildings teams play well in. Toronto Maple Leafs play well in Washington. I can't explain it. They have done an unbelievable job playing well in Washington. And I like the fact that while all these teams are sitting at home, feasting on turkey, being with the family, getting away from hockey, these guys have been hunkered down in the bunker, on the road, in a full hard practice yesterday on Thanksgiving, preparing for this game here today against Washington. I love that for the Leafs. That's a bet-on situation for me. Give me Toronto here, plus 140. I'm going to be stubborn. This Capitals team, this is a fugazi win streak, in my opinion. They haven't played as good as some of these wins would indicate. Toronto's owned Washington over the years. Plus 140. This is a live dog. I love that they practiced yesterday. Wool's been good, and he's probably going to get the start again. He was excellent. Not just good, excellent the other night against Columbus. So I like Toronto in this spot. They're one of the few teams that went through full practice yesterday on Thanksgiving. So, and they played well in Washington. I also like these overs, especially the full game over. I've been off the Leaf over train for a bit because they've focused on defense and the games have been trending under. But Washington's been trending over, and Leaf Capital games in Washington, go look at every recent one of them. Over, all of them. For some reason, it's been goals with these two teams, especially here in D.C. So over 6, Toronto money line, maybe a dabble on the draw as well. Alex, what do you think here? Leafs, Capitals.
Yeah, that's why I went dog and draw, and I took a shot with Matthew Nyes to 75-1 to get the overtime winner. But I definitely like, and like I said, that's a good spot and a good mentality to have. You know, hey, we can't take a day off. We have to keep things rolling. We've got to get things back into the right track and the right step of things. And like I said, this is a Caps team that I think they're a bit of a fraud as well. So plus 130, plus 140, shop around for the best price. I like the dog here, but I did grab a piece of draw as well.
I thought I was strong with that. I don't know. Fraud's a little strong, but yeah, just this win streak's a little. It's not been as good.
A little fraudulent. Yeah. A little fraudulent.
It doesn't look. It's not as good.
It's shaky because this is we've said it this whole year, right?
Chikrin's going to score 2 goals every game. Is Bobby Orr now all of a sudden on the blue line?
That's what I'm saying. It's not the same momentum as last year's Caps team. Yeah. This is a spot, like I said, if it ain't Chikrin or if it ain't Ovechkin, then they have nights where they're just skating around doing a bunch of nothing. So
yeah. I've just watched enough of these two teams over the years. I don't know what it is. Maybe they like go. Maybe they get a tour. I don't know. Maybe they sightsee. They check out the White House, the Pentagon. Who the hell knows what Toronto does when they go to Washington to play? But something agrees with them because they play well there, and they've played well there for years in Washington. So, like I said, I think it's a good price, good spot. Love that they practiced yesterday. It's worth a shot. Win or lose, I'll be. If Washington wins, I'll say salute. Well done. But I think Toronto in this spot at this price is worth the bet, the over as well. And I like the Nyes look and I like Easton Cowan. He finally scored the other night. This is a talented kid. And now that he finally got one, watch him maybe start to see the puck go in for him a little bit more. So Easton Cowan, as far as props, I like for Toronto in this game. On the Washington side of the equation, talked about Ethan Frank, how he's been, certainly more noticeable. I know Tom Wilson's burned the Leafs a lot in the past, so this could be a day to look toward, certainly Tom Wilson. Like I said, I expect Wool Thompson to be the matchup. It's not confirmed yet, but I'm fully expecting that to be the case here, that we get Joseph Wool. And Logan Thompson hasn't been nearly as good of late after that red-hot start. That's another thing to keep in mind. All right, next up, we've got Winnipeg and Carolina. It's Carolina minus 220. Wow, big home favorites in this game. The total here sitting at 6.5, 6. This is another one where it's dog at this price if I bet it, honestly. It's a revenge spot. They lost, obviously, in Winnipeg 4-3 to Carolina just recently. It's just a big price. I don't love the idea of going against the Hurricanes off 2 straight losses now. Remember, they lost to Buffalo at the end of that road trip, and then they lose 4-2 at home to the Rangers the other night. So the prospect of saying, yeah, let's line up and take Winnipeg here, plus 180. But I do think this price is a little rich on Carolina right now. It just is, especially with Winnipeg. Winnipeg was right there with Washington the other night. It was a 1-goal game in the third. I thought the effort was good. It's just it seemed like they had bad bounces, and Washington, everything they threw at the net kind of went in. But that's going to happen now when you're missing Connor Hellebuck, and that's the sad truth of it, and the reality that it's going to be harder for the Jets to keep the puck out of their net without Connor Hellebuck and with Eric Comrie, having to play every night. It may be, though, the first NHL start for Thomas Milic here this afternoon for Winnipeg. I'm hearing they might be giving him his first start. We'll see. Scott Arniel will make that decision, obviously, later today, or maybe he's already made it, and we'll just hear about it later today. But Thomas Milic does have great AHL numbers, but again, NHL is a different kettle of fish. And when your first NHL starts against a Carolina team that's off 2 straight losses at home and they fire every puck known to man at the net, that's not an easy first assignment here for Thomas Milic, if he indeed does get the start. We'll see how it goes here. Anderson's projected, but not confirmed. I hope it's Anderson. Anderson has not been very reliable lately for the Carolina Hurricanes. But regardless, this has become another system play that we've discovered that I'm on here. First period, full game over, Winnipeg, Carolina. Carolina home games after a home loss. They're already 2-0 this year. If you go back last year, this was a system that came through quite a bit. Home off a home loss. When Carolina's at home and they lost at home in their previous game. It's crazy how many times they've gotten out to these quick starts. Bang, bang, couple of goals. First period over, cashes easily. This could even be a Carolina team total over or a first period team total over for Carolina because they've done this stuff so much. The Islander game, they pounced on them earlier this year after a home loss, playing the Islanders at home. They won that game 6-2, and I think they scored 3 goals in the first period of that game. And then, of course, the Vancouver game, they won 4-3 against the Canucks after losing the previous game to Edmonton at home. They played Vancouver at home the next game. What did they score in the first period? Like 2 goals or something? 3 goals. Like they jumped on Vancouver, got on the board early in that game. So that's been a very, very good angle. Carolina home games at home, off a home loss, first period over, full game over. And you could even extend it to Carolina team total overs in this game as well. The full game, maybe even sprinkle on a over 1.5 alt first period team total. These have been the spots where it's 2-0 before you can blink for Carolina. In some of these situations where obviously they've lost at home and are playing at home again. Yeah, you're certainly if it's Freddie Anderson, I can't talk Jonathan out of Jets team total over either. Freddie's given up 4 goals in 5 straight starts. If it is him, it'd be hard to talk anyone off that. That's why I like the over first period full game anyway. I think both teams contribute to the scoring here. Remember, this Carolina team still without Slavin. I was shocked to see this, Alex. They've given up 3 goals or more in 9 of their last 10 games, Carolina.
Wow. Yeah.
9 of their last 10. There'd be times last year that they'd give up 2 goals or less, 9 of 10. Now they're giving up 3 goals or more, 9 of their last 10. Well, that speaks to Anderson struggling. That speaks to Slavin still being out. Their best shutdown defenseman by far. They're just conceding goals at a rate that we're not used to seeing for Carolina. Alex, what do you think here? Jets, Hurricanes.
So, yeah, I jumped all over once I heard that more than likely it could be Milic starting. I like Carolina. First goal of first period, I grabbed minus $1.05. It's up to $1.10. I still like that price. I also have, as you mentioned, alt team total in the first period with Carolina. Over 1.5 goals plus 205 available at FanDuel. So I think they're going to get all over Milic if it is him early in this contest.
All right, good stuff. As far as props here with the Jets and the Hurricanes, Gabe Vilardi's the one guy that's really, like I said, starting to get it rolling here for Winnipeg. Maybe look in that direction. Gostisbehere from the blue line for the Hurricanes. Shane Gostisbehere has scored in back-to-back games. So if you're looking for a bit of a longer shot defenseman, we talk about that with Chikrin now. He's been shooting the puck, and it's been going in lately. That's starting to happen here with Shane Gostisbehere. So he might be worth a look here in this game as well. Nikolai Ehlers against his old team. How can we not? We got to kind of look at some Ehlers props here in this game as well. So we'll definitely keep that in mind. All right, next up, that game is 5 p.m. Eastern. Okay, these last 3 games coming up, they're night games. So only 3 night games. Think about that. We have 15 games. 12 of them are day games. Only 3 of them are night games here tonight. And this is one of the 3 games taking place this evening. Pittsburgh, Columbus. We've got Columbus minus 130, home favorites total here sitting at 6.5 across the board here in this game. Penguins, of course. Dan Muse kind of got after his team after the Seattle game, and they responded with a 4-2 win against Buffalo in their last game. We'll see if they can follow that up here against the Blue Jackets. Goaltending dependent again, but it is Tristan Jarry, Jet Greaves, the matchup. We'll see with this Columbus team because I kind of lean Columbus here after a tough home loss to Toronto in overtime the other night, where I thought they played really well. They outshot Toronto, but Joseph Woll was outstanding in net. Really, really did a great job for the Leafs in that game. Columbus, you could say, maybe deserved a little bit of a better fate, but the injuries are starting to mount. They missed Marchenko badly. There's no doubt with how well he had been playing. Matthew Olivier is now out for the Blue Jackets as well. So, they're starting to accumulate a couple of key absences and injuries. Tristan Jarry in net, like I said, for Pittsburgh. They're going to roll back with him after getting the win against Buffalo in his return the other night. Like I said, I'm on the fence here. It's Columbus or pass. Haven't gotten to the window yet, but certainly lean in the home favorites direction. Alex, Penguins, Jackets.
This is a pass for me. Like I said, with a big card, there was some games that had to be cut down, and this is one where I didn't have anything.
Yeah, I'm also debating that if I bet Columbus pregame, it'll be small. We can always jump on them more at a plus price if they're trailing at some point. That could be the way I go about it as well here with the Penguins and the Jackets. I do want to mention as far as props in this game, Werenski, he's been shooting the puck more, scored in the last game for the Blue Jackets. So props involving him might be worth a look here in this game tonight. Let me see what else here. If he wasn't struggling so much, I'd look at Kent Johnson, but he can't buy a goal right now. But playing with Fantilli and Voronkov, and he's kind of the guy taking the spot of Marchenko right now, but he's snake bit right now for this Columbus team. Luca Pinelli just got called up. He's actually from a suburb of Hamilton here, Stony Creek. So just around my neck of the woods. But Luca Pinelli on the second line with Sean Monahan and Cole Sillinger for Columbus. So there's probably some value with the youngster there, Luca Pinelli. And then on the Pittsburgh side of the equation, he's still up on the top line. Maybe look to Connor Dewar with Crosby and Rust. I mean, if he stays there, he's not much of a goal scorer, but sometimes Sidney Crosby can make a broomstick look good sometimes on the ice. So like I said, still might be something to look at here as far as props, considering a look toward. I'm blanking on the name now. Oh, yeah. Connor Dewar for Pittsburgh up there on the top line. All right, we got 2 games left for this huge Black Friday NHL slate. Next up, we've got Nashville and Chicago. Pretty much even money here, minus 110 both sides. The total here sitting at 6 shaded to the under in this game. Well, we talked about this with Vancouver, right? When you're a bad team, do we trust you off a win? No, we do not. I don't. And Vancouver's one of those teams today. Okay, you beat Anaheim. Good for you. prove it, you can do it again, because they haven't won 2 games in a row very often. Nashville's won 2 games in a row one time this year. One time. That's it. In every other game, they're 1-5 off a win. In their other 6 tries off a win this year. 1-5. So that is a porous track record off a win for this Nashville Predators team. And this has got to be a stop the bleeding spot for Chicago. We can increase the level of the alarm bells for the Chicago Blackhawks in the Windy City if they don't win this hockey game tonight. This is a game that you got to have. You played well enough in some of these games. You got to stop this crap with the goal in the last minute of the period that you're giving up. It's happening too much. It's a momentum killer. It's what got Minnesota's foot back in the door the other night, giving up that last-minute goal in the second period when you'd been playing well up to that point. That's what invited Minnesota to come back and win that game, the other night. And it was another tough loss. It was another tough officiating situation for Chicago in a game where a clean hit, by Eriksson Ek on Bedard, wonderful hit with the puck in the neutral zone right there. But then right after that, Mikheyev lands a clean hit with the puck in the area, and they call him for interference, which was the dumbest thing you'll ever see. Neither one was interference. Nothing should have been called there. And yet they called Mikheyev there for interference. It was a great hit. There was nothing wrong with it. And sure enough, you know how those bad calls go. Oftentimes, those are the ones that that hurt you and get you. And Minnesota scores with Kaprizov on the power play right after that. Horrible stuff. Wasn't interference. Neither one was interference. It's just play on both ways is what it should have been. But, of course, they called the Chicago one, which was totally absurd. Terrible call. That's multiple times now. There's been a key call at a key critical time in the game that's gone against Chicago. So, like I said, that's an unfortunate turn of events we've seen from them lately. But that's not the total excuse. You can't be giving up goals late in the period. You got to play 60 minutes. There's been little areas where there's been these little lulls when they start to, get out in front. They got to nip those in the bud. And like I said, this is a very important game for them. Now, I will note, historically, Nashville's owned Chicago. So you would think that's a big concern. But the last time Nashville was at the United Center in Chicago, Chicago did beat them 6-2 last season. So like I said, at least in that game, it's a sign that the worm's starting to turn here. Yeah, you got to have those 2 points tonight if you're Chicago. I will take them -110. Alex, what do you think here? Nashville, Chicago.
The question of the night is, will the Hawks be playing a team 7-on-5? Are they going to have 2 referees playing for Nashville? Like there's been 2 referees playing for Minnesota and 2 referees playing for Colorado. Are there going to be 2 referees skating for Nashville along with the other 5 skaters on the ice? That's the question. Because if that's the case, we're going to lose. I'm on the Hawks -1.10, but we're going to lose it again if the referees are against us. Because that's the way it's been. Yes, the Hawks have made mistakes in all of these games, win and lose. But it doesn't. When you have the referees making big time calls late and affecting the shift of the game, like you said, either you call interference on both those plays in overtime, or you don't call it at all. And the right play would have been to not call anything at all. You let them play through. But so that's the main concern. I'm on the Hawks here in this spot. It's black jersey night. It's a whole blackout. They're actually asking the fans to wear black the next 2 games, something they've never done in the history of bringing these jerseys out. So hopefully the crowd will bring some energy. Hopefully this team can get 2 points. And like I said, hopefully they won't have to play against a team and an officiating crew.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, and like I said, this is an important game for the Blackhawks because for the first time really all season, this has become now, a lot of it's been because of lulls and lapses and some bad job by the team. But again, they've had some critical calls at critical moments, turn potential wins into losses. That's also been part of it. But the bottom line is this is a 4-game losing streak now. And this is the time you got to stop it. The Seattle game was unfortunate. Buffalo was a tough back-to-back spot. Minnesota and Colorado are 2 of the hottest teams going. So this is the time. And I don't even mind that it's Soderblom in net. I don't. It's Nashville for crying out loud.
He's going to get the starts against the bad teams the rest of the way. So against the Nashville, against the Calgary, against the bottom feeders down the stretch, you're going to see him get those starts. That's just the way it goes.
You could bring back an older and aging Steve Passmore to be the goaltender tonight for the Chicago Blackhawks. I'd probably still bet Chicago here against
who
this.
Often rock the black jersey too. So
yeah,
it's been a fitting call.
Yeah, like I said, I'm okay with tonight with Soderblom. If Soderblom's playing Colorado, maybe not so much, but it's Nashville for crying out loud. Like I said, you got to have a spot here if you're the Chicago Blackhawks. All right, as far as props for this game are concerned, I'm going to just sprinkle on the Blankenberg from the blue line for Nashville because he's actually scored in back-to-back games and he's been shooting the puck a little bit more. So I'm interested there as far as props for the Nashville Predators in this game. You know, he came back and he scored. Why not? I'm feeling the trooper tonight, Jason Dickinson for the Chicago Blackhawks. Came back, scored a goal against Minnesota the other night. Burakovsky he's back. There we go. We were not sure. You know, he's been day to day.
And on the top line, too. He's on the top line, and it's Bertuzzi moving down to the second line.
Okay. I still think Bertuzzi's worth a look because he's red hot right now. But Burakovsky, yes, now that he's back. I like that. Back in the lineup, looking to make an impact. I like that. I forgot to mention, I always like the healthy scratch coming back in the lineup to score a goal. There's someone I forgot to mention, Toronto, Washington, too, Dakota Joshua. He'd been a healthy scratch. Watch him have a strong, hard game. Doesn't mean he's going to score for sure. But like I said, certainly I could see him maybe finding the back of the net. Yeah, 2-1 Tampa Bay. They just scored early in the second period there to take the lead on the Detroit Red Wings in that game. All right, last game of this Friday NHL slate. We've got Utah and Dallas. It is Dallas minus 135, actually, minus 135 home favorites. The total here is sitting at 6, shaded to the under here in this game. You look at the Utah Mammoth, a 4-3 loss to Montreal at home the other night. They'll be looking to bounce back from that. We'll see if they are able to do that. Dallas returning home from a little bit of a road trip, 4 games in Western Canada and then in Seattle to end it. Now they're back home here taking on Utah. Utah off the 4-3 loss to the Montreal Canadiens. So, like I said, Utah looking for a bounce back here in this spot tonight against Dallas. Let me see what the price is on this. It's probably a little too pricey for my liking. Actually, there's some. You can wait for this a few minutes into the first period if you'd like. That might be the best way to go. But a couple books, DraftKings and especially Pinnacle, some others, they have minus 145 on this. Utah to score in the first period. I actually do like that here in this spot. It makes sense to me. How many times have I seen Dallas do this? You know, they're feeling good road trip overall. Other than the loss to Calgary, they beat Vancouver. They beat Edmonton badly, pounded the Oilers in a tough spot. They beat Seattle 3-2 on a back-to-back to end that road trip. And even the Robinsons will be telling you this. How many times have we seen them give up that early goal in spots like this? They've done this very often, Dallas. So I think that Utah goal in the first period, I like that here in this game. It's actually what I like the most. I'm not in love with anything pregame in this game, side or total. It's probably a Utah goal in the first period, maybe even a small first period money line, and then bet Dallas live, which is, often we've seen them come back in spots like this too. And Utah to close out a game on the road, I'm not totally there. I think they'll have a good opening, good first 20 minutes. You catch Dallas off the road trip, but this is still a team that's only 5-8 on the road, so I don't know if I fully trust them to win the game, but I think they'll have a good start. Maybe Dallas a bit of a dopey start for them coming off a good road trip. So, and plus, again, road team off the holiday, home teams off a win. I'm going to look at that today. How many home teams, when they're off a win prior to Thanksgiving, how well do they do? I have a feeling some are going to lose in that spot today. Off a win at home following the Thanksgiving holiday, like Washington, for example. And there's going to be a couple other teams. I could see those teams stumbling in this spot today. We'll see. I mean, this is just a theory. We're going to see what the results are. But it's just something in the back of my mind that I think could be the case here. Home teams playing it today on home ice off a win. I don't know if they're going to be a positive subset today as far as the results go. Keep an eye on that. I will be. Alex, what do you think here? Utah, Dallas.
Yeah, this was one that was going to be kind of just a pregame pass and wait for it live being the late game. But I like the look that you're talking about with Utah. So I'm going to go first goal, first period, plus 145. Yep. I'm also going to take a little sprinkle on goal in the first 5 minutes, plus 172. Both of those prices available at FanDuel.
Yeah, I'm going to do that too. The first goal, first period. Rather than just put it all on the first period goal for Utah, minus 145. Yeah, just dabble it up. You can get just divvy it up, I should say. Plus price for that first goal, first period look. Yeah, so definitely, like I said, interested in that. As far as props go for Utah, Dallas, Let me just see here. Kyler Yamamoto's up on the second line with Cooley and Gunther. And there's been a little bit of chemistry with that trio. So, I don't mind the looks there as far as props. Roope Hintz is on a 3-game goal streak. Like I said, Yamamoto also scored against Montreal in the last game, and now getting that push up the lineup. For Dallas, obviously Mikko Rantanen returned from his suspension against Seattle. So obviously he's back in the lineup. It looks like Robertson, Hintz, Seguin still has some value. Tyler Seguin, is on the top line. So, it didn't work the other night, but like I said, certainly a situation where you could see, obviously, Seguin eventually find the back of the net, getting that opportunity on the top line with Hintz and with Robertson. All right, there you have it. How about that? How many games? 15 in an hour? I told you, blistering pace. A holiday. We're trying to keep the show a little more condensed. We're trying to do, it's 3-2 now for Tampa. So if this game is any indication, is this going to be an overpalooza today? NHL first games after Thanksgiving. We'll see. We're certainly on a bunch of overs, and I was looking for a live over in that game, but unfortunately the goals came too early. But yeah, that's definitely a sign that, like I said, are we going to get one of these days where there's goals left and right? We'll have to wait and see on that. But good stuff. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. Yeah, just a small draw bet for me on the Boston game, says Grits. We talked about that earlier. Check it out. Yeah, just a small draw bet. Rangers, if you got a good price, makes sense. I mean, there's no Pasternak, no Zacha for Boston, but
and waiting for an over 4.5 in game, not 5.5 at plus money. Waiting for 4.5 live on that total.
There you go. Good stuff. All right. WizardSportsPicks.com. Check it out. I mean, there's tons going on, especially today, tomorrow, Sunday, this remainder of this Thanksgiving holiday weekend. NHL, of course, every day. College football, final weekend of the regular season. NFL, including a Friday NFL game. NBA, college basketball day and night. So tons going on. Get on board with some premium picks. So many great handicappers, many of them in great form. I know Dana on his video was talking about he's won 9 straight. So great job by him. Matt Robinson's doing a crazy. He's really been phenomenal with the NHL, Matt. So make sure you check him out, wizardsportspicks.com. I'm going to mention Matt's best bet and bargain bin too, because he sent it along to me. We'll mention that during the best bet and bargain bin segments in just a little bit as well. So make sure you check it out, wizardsportspicks.com. And also check out patreon.com/Ice Guys, $10 per month, goalie charts, totals charts, all the bonus content. Make sure you get on board there. Patreon.com, our daily betting cards, sides, totals, player props, posted each and every day on the Patreon page. Check the Patreon page, anyone that's a member right now, after 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. Okay, by then I will have my entire card posted. Alex's full card will be up by then, before the 4 p.m. Eastern game starts. So again, make sure you check it then. We'll have everything up on the page at that time. So get on board. Again, your subscription goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping it going long term. $10 per month. Get on board at patreon.com/Ice Guys.
And also check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. Today, Saturday, Sunday, you can save 30% off of orders $70 or more. That is the Black Friday sale that is going on right now. I've already got things loaded up in my cart personally. It's some things that I'm getting for friends and family for Christmas gifts. I implore you to do that as well. This is a great time to save and shop right now. 30% off all orders, 70% or more today, Saturday, and Sunday at iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
There you go. Get on board with the sale that's available right now at our store and pick up some merch before the Christmas season. All right, bargain bin special of the night and best bets coming up right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
Please for yourself with my mouth is no kings and queens shop.
Thanks to all our sponsors, including Royal Cannabis, royalcannabisshop.com, 20% off with promo code Ice Guys. All right, bargain bin special of the night. I don't think we have many games to choose from. I'm kidding, of course. We got tons to choose from. Alex, what do you got? Bargain bin special of the night.
I will have a second bargain bin special that will be posted over at patreon.com/Ice Guys. So check that on out. But my bargain bin special for the night, and it is a late game, the later game in the evening. 1901 West Madison. You got the Hawks taking on Nashville wearing the snazzy black jerseys. Give me Ilya Mikheyev to get a goal. Plus 480. Like I said, he was involved in that overtime incident in the game against Minnesota. He had a lot of chances to score, too, the last couple of games. I think he gets one on the board. You can get his highest, actually plus 500 is what I'm seeing, best price available. So Ilya Mikheyev, anytime goal scorer for the Hawks. That is one of my bargain bin specials of the night. The second one will be available at Patreon.
All right, like it. There you go. Bargain bin special of the night. Ilya Mikheyev, plus 480, up to plus 500 in some spots, so shop around. And his second bargain bin special, exclusive to Patreon members, so make sure you get on board. Just $10 per month, and you'll get, obviously, Alex's second bargain bin special on the page later today. I've got two bargain bin specials. The first one is, come on without, come on within. You'll not see nothing like the mighty Jack Quinn. Yes, Jack Quinn, going for his fourth straight game with a goal, plus 310 at BetMGM for Jack Quinn of the Buffalo Sabres. That'll be my first bargain bin special. My second is going to be Easton Cowan for the Toronto Maple Leafs, plus 400. I like this angle where guys has had chances, opportunities to score. Puck just won't go in. It finally goes in for him the other night, his first goal of the season against Columbus. And sometimes the floodgates can open after that for a guy that's got some pretty good talent. So there you go. Plus 400, Easton Cowan for Toronto for my second bargain bin special of the night. All right, best bets for this Friday. Alex, we'll start with you. What do you like for best bet?
Let's skate on out to Vegas. You've got Montreal taking on the Golden Knights. And we've been rolling with these first period overs involved in Vegas. And like I said, Montreal's been a hot over team as well. So give me over 1.5 minus 125 with the Habs and VGK is my best bet.
All right, Montreal, Vegas, first period over for Alex with his best bet. My best bet, I'm going to give you two best bets, a side and a total. I'm going to go against Washington for best bet again. I know it didn't go well for me with Winnipeg the other night, but I love this spot and this price, and I like that the Leafs practiced, and I like that they're trying to get on a run. I like that they've had tons of success. They've really had a good recent history in Washington against the Capitals. So at plus 140, I'm on Toronto for my one best bet. That's a side, and I'll give you a total for my other best bet. We're going to go to that Winnipeg Kakalaki over 6 minus 120. Strong team to the over in home games off a home loss. Carolina, it's been a great angle. It's been very profitable this year and last year. And I think we'll see goals there. Neither of these teams, when they're all healthy and they've got their top goaltenders, these are two great defensive teams. Well, neither one is playing like it right now. Winnipeg, Carolina, over 6, minus 120 to go along with Toronto, plus 140 for my best bets here for this Friday NHL slate. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. And we're back at this same time tomorrow with another big card, which is actually not as big as today. It's actually slightly smaller than today's, but still a big Saturday slate tomorrow at noon Eastern. And we will be back to preview it for you right here on the Ice Guys. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday delayed start, Tuesday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Friday. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will be back Saturday at noon Eastern for another edition of the Ice Guys.